Guys, welcome back to
Real talk.
Real Faith.
Hey, how everybody doing?
Special guest here today. We have Miss Butterfly Love and Flip. Today we are going to be talking about handling conflict biblically as a Christian in these days and times when everything's going on. What's the best way to kind of like maneuver and just handle conflict with friends, family, work, person that you bump into off the street? So I got some friends here, different perspectives, different walks of life, to kind of just share some of their insight into how they handle conflict. What's the best way to handle conflict? Again, especially as a Christian, right? It's easier, we know the other way, but how we're maneuvering that biblically. So we're gonna just jump right into it. I'm gonna be reading here because I got some like fun little stuff. One of the things I saw was, why do you think conflict happens? Like, why is there conflict? Or why do you think conflict starts to happen in relationships, friendships, work relationships? Can anybody speak to why they may feel like conflict happens?
Yeah, people don't listen.
Miscommunication.
Yeah, people don't listen. It's just you're not focusing on the issue right now. You're doing other stuff.
Right.
Okay,
So if they were actually listening, then there may not be a conflict.
correct.
Okay. And looking at things, if you look at just different research and stuff like that, it does say like miscommunication is one of the biggest things sometimes in arguments, is that people, they're either not listening, they're not saying it well. I know for me, sometimes it's the way you say it and then that interpretation of how you say it can like throw it, right? So how you're saying it can impact how I interpret it. That's my nice way of saying it. So if it's said a certain way, then I'm like, what you mean? And I'm trying to get over that because that's not a good habit either, right? Sometimes people are just saying what they're saying. It's nothing behind it. That's the way they talk, or they don't know how to say it better. And so if you're taking offense to everything, and then sometimes people just not listening. Brittany, Butterfly Love, what y'all got to say?
I To help the situation, I would say listen to what they're saying and understand that you all have different upbringings, so the what you used to and what they're used to seeing growing up is totally different. So I believe that learning how to blend the two to make communication effective.
Okay. So being understanding even when there's possible
Yes.
miscommunication. That's good.
And also, just for me, I think like not being so offensive. I'm sorry,
Mm,
not being so defensive.
mm,
Um, when you are listening and when someone is trying to communicate something with you, and just remembering the heart of the person. If you're going to have a conversation with, for example, a loved one, just keeping in mind that, that is your loved one. So even though you might have done something to offend them and they're coming to you, um, you don't have to be so defensive when listening to them and just saying, you don't have to automatically get into your guard up mode. Just hear them out for a second and see what they're saying and see how maybe the situation could have been handled a little differently. Or, because you might not have known that you were offending the person
right.
and, that wasn't your intent. I think a lot of it is the intent of a person. What were their intentions initially going into it?
Yeah.
Some stuff that you can handle that other people can't handle. Like some people can handle someone coming to them harshly or saying, "Hey," or being more direct, while other people may need a little more cushion in the delivery. So I think just the intent and just knowing the heart of the person is also really important.
That's good. That's good. I know our mama used to get on us with us having so many, having siblings. My mom was very clear, like, when you guys are fighting, y'all should not be arguing and trying to fight like y'all fighting someone off the street. Like, this is your sibling. Like, so, like what Brittany said, have grace.
No,
You know,
then how they gonna learn? No, I'm
so,
just being serious. Like
well,
that's what me and Lil Byron went through for a little bit when he got older. He wasn't listening. He thought because he was bigger than me, he ain't got to listen. I'm like, no, I'm your older cousin. No, you have to listen to me. So yeah,
yeah.
no, he had to put some hands on him one time. Just be he's okay. I'm not gonna.
Well, no, you know what? This is a male perspective, so I can't really speak to that. Because like I know like how men handle conflict and what they feel is necessary in a conflict is different than how women do that. So I can't, and that's why I'm glad I have you on, because sometimes we have to see it from both perspectives. Um, like I love what Brittany and Jennifer basically said. It's basically the heart of the matter, understanding where people coming from, because that's a big part of miscommunication. And as I had just said, interpretation. But I'm gonna assume, Flip, that you're saying a little tough love got to be thrown in there every now and then. Um, you know,
If
just
that's applicable to the person, I agree. Like I mentioned before, like some people can handle it. Like some people prefer, hey, just give it to me straight. Like you don't have to candy coat it. Just give it to me straight. That way I can understand and be clear about what you're trying to relate to me in this message. While other
Yeah.
people, that sometimes they're a little bit more sensitive. And so for me personally, I know that I'm a little bit more sensitive, so
yeah,
sometimes you might have to, you can still give me the information. You can still be truthful in information, but it's just your delivery of the information.
yeah, just deliver it with a little kindness.
But yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, for me, I just tell me. Don't have me sitting here trying to guess. Play
exactly.
50 questions. What?
Yeah.
Just what is it? Let's just get to the point so we can go and try to figure this out. Because
Do
the
you need
longer,
it delivered to you softly? Do you need it delivered to you with some cushion behind it? Or can you just take it straight, even if they're going to come straight at you? But do you need a little cushion, just a little bit of
I don't chase my drinks. Okay, just give it to me straight.
Christian podcast? Blah.
It's water.
Okay. What about you, Butterfly Love? How do you feel like? Do you feel like you need just a little cushion, or can somebody come at you? Can you
I
take a little bit
feel
of a
like
harshness with
I
delivery?
feel like you could give a little cushion, just do it in the like a tender but firm type of way. Mean what you say what you mean.
Say
So what the Bible say, let your yeses be yeses and your noes be
Yeah.
noes. Whenever you just come, just say it. I think do it a middle ground for me,
Yeah.
right? So I can take you saying, I didn't like this. You need to do it. But just don't get belligerent. Like, because it's gonna, take me there. You're welcome to say whatever you need to say to me. I didn't like this, or you could have did this better. That's fine. I can take that. But it's if you need to. That's then. Then we going. I'm still working on my Michelle Obama levels. She say when they go low, we go. I'm still
When
working
they
on because I be wanting to go flow rider, but
man,
Michelle said go high.
man, you're from Louisiana, okay? You want to talk what?
Michelle
You
say
want
we
to run
gotta
your
go.
mouth? Okay.
And Jesus say
Man,
turn the other cheek. So I'm trying to go to the Jesus, hit
man,
those
you're
levels.
too cute. If I turn around again, left hand, right hand. How you want it, brother?
Oh my goodness. And so, okay. So let's talk about that. So the turn the other cheek, and because I know for a little bit there was the viral thing with counting how many times Jesus said 70 plus 70, how many times you forgive your brother, and that scripture about, when they asked him how many times did you forgive your brother?
It's like
And
707 times, right?
huh?
It was like 777 times, right?
Yes, like 7 times 7. Don't put me on the spot for it, but yes, it's something like that, right? 7 times 7. Sometimes 70, something like that. And people was trying to add and subtract it, divide it, all that stuff. Um,
After that last one, no,
so you gonna count it up for 'em.
no. Once you get to that last one, hey, all right, look, I'm all out of cheeks to turn. So guess what? Now you have to learn.
Okay, so biblically, when it tells us to turn other cheek or practice forgiveness, um, so you counting it up. You ain't got it. How do you feel about that? Like, do you
Right.
feel like that's something realistically that could be done right now in this time?
I'm gonna tell you right now, the whole turn the other cheek thing, it's cool. I know we're not supposed to like hold grudges or have hate in our hearts or whatever, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep it PG. It's only one person who I'm done turning cheeks for. All right, and that one person is got to either see me or see the Lord.
Okay, so we're gonna work on your biblical interpretation of forgiveness. Thank you.
Well,
Hey, I'm just letting you know.
my interpretation is turning the cheek is it's a very hard thing to do. You got to be very disciplined to do that. But when you do that, you're allowing God to handle the situation. But when God handled that situation, the outcome is not what you expect it to be, like you thought it was. An individual could think about it's gonna come out their way, but when a person that is of spiritual faith and of God, you will pray about the situation and let him handle it from there. So to me, I done turned the other cheek, let God put it in God's hands to handle it, and just sit back and watch what he do. And a lot of time even when it's a friend or anybody, the relationship would change because the trust is broken. You could forgive, but that trust will never be the same. You will never look at that person the same way as you did before. And that's what allows some people to be guarded.
But is that true forgiveness if there's still that speck of
It's more of
I'm bringing it back up in a way?
It's more of a trust situation than forgiveness. Because my saying that I could forgive you, but at the same time, how do I not know if you will pull the same stunt again? Like you could develop a relationship off of forgiveness, but you're gonna go into it in a different mindset after the situation that happened. You start looking at things differently than you thought you are. You thought you didn't think this person to do this to you. You have that mindset like, oh, I never thought she'll do this or he'll do this to me, but it ended up happening, you know? So your perspective of them that you didn't think they'll do this because y'all been knowing each other, y'all been friends for a little while, and then boom, something happened. And it was hurtful and everything. But I ask for personally, I ask for forgiveness and I will forgive the person. But the bond that y'all had it changes the bond. It changes the journey that y'all on together. It's either break or make. If it's something that you really care about, then you're gonna work it out. But if it's something that you don't feel like you can, if it's something that you can forgive that person, you can forgive that person, but in your heart's heart, can you get past what they have done? Because a lot of time people struggle with the part of getting past it.
And I think it's just about acknowledging that, hey, while I'm forgiving you, I still may be hurt, right?
That's good.
And so that's important to acknowledge the fact that even though at this point in time you decide to forgive the person because you might not want to lose that person, so you're forgiving that person, but you're still hurt. And so now it's us working through the hurt. I think sometimes for the other party, they're like, okay, well, if you forgive me, then why are you still hurt?
Yeah. Why are still here?
And so it's both parties. It's both parties acknowledging the fact that, hey, I've been forgiven, but this person still may need time to kind of like get back, to where we were. And the other person saying that just because I'm deciding to forgive that person, I'm not going to wake up the next day like, oh, nothing ever happened.
Right.
So it's just kind of like being real and with the whole process of forgiveness and healing, because to me that kind of goes hand in hand.
Exactly. Some people need some people need a little bit more time healing from the situation. And through that healing process, even though they forgive that person, through the healing process, they probably questioning, do I really want to continue this relationship? Do I really like trying to understand
When
it?
it comes to like forgiving somebody, prime example, me and one of my best friends, we had a falling out. We didn't speak for what month is this?
It's
For almost,
December.
we speak for almost 6 months
Okay.
till he had a situation happen, and I pulled up on him that night, to make sure he was all right. Then we started to heal because we both know why it went down like it went down. It's just the outcome. He wanted to be something different, but I wasn't able to
Maneuver that.
follow that.
Yeah.
So he felt like I had betrayed him, but
Mm-hmm.
we've slowly gotten back to a communication level. When we can, we go kick it, but that's just how men are. Like we'll not talk for 6 months, then a random phone call or text, and we're back like nothing happened.
Yeah.
That's just men. I don't know how women do
I
that thing.
think it happens in women as well.
Yeah, but y'all take it to the level though.
Yeah, that happens. Takes it to a whole other level.
I could not call my best friend for a good 2-3 months
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "Hey, you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm finna pull up. I ain't bet. Come on."
Well, we can. I can do that with the people that's on this line right now. I've been in a relationship with at least 20. Yes, everybody on this
Even
line.
Nikki ain't here right now, so I mean,
Nikki ain't here right now, but Butterfly Love, Nikki, we can. I mean, we don't go that long, just because we just don't. But we could and still be okay. We don't have to do it. Yeah, we can go that long. We just not gonna do it for the sake of making sure that we're okay because we know we're mothers and have stuff like that. But we don't have to. Same for Britt. We don't have to. Although Britt and I don't go that long, but we don't. No, I was actually gonna. This is gonna switch us to change of a subject for 2 seconds, but I think it's important because we're talking about handling conflict. And then if we start talking about relationships, I think what you said was important that your friend that you got in conflict with, something happened, that I'm assuming that he needed some support. And when he called or however it went down, you were there. So I think people try
yeah,
to figure out why relationships don't work or what makes a 20-year relationship last 20
What
years.
makes a 20-year
Oh,
relationship last is honesty from jump. Honesty
yeah.
and having a good heart about it. And intentions. Good intentions.
And it's gonna take work. Like you can be an honest person, you can have great intentions, but I think that you have to put effort and work into it. I think pride has to go to the side. Like I
Exactly.
think my mom used to say somebody gotta have a sense. And every now and then you get in a relationship where y'all both are, standing on your business, and somebody has to say, I love you more than standing on business, right? Or I care more about this relationship. I want this relationship more. And I felt like with Flip's scenario when he hadn't spoken 6 months, but still was able to help a friend out, I think that says a lot. Why are you laughing?
No, cause like this was 2000. Yeah, since 2002, I've known you.
Yeah.
I've known you, not you, but the other person.
Right, the other person. Right.
I know your family. I know your brother. I know your sister. I know your cousins. I know all your aunties. Like, no, nigga, we locked in.
Right. Right. Brett, any comments towards any of this that we've been discussing?
Yeah. Well, I feel like as far as being in relationships and maintaining and sustaining relationships, I think that one thing that is a hard pill to swallow is just knowing that, you know, your partner, whether it be your friend or someone, they will eventually end up hurting you in some type of way.
Mm.
And so through that hurt is how you maneuver through that hurt and how you handle the situation through that hurt will be the determining factor of that relationship. Sometimes people put others on a pedestal, and we shouldn't do that,
Right.
because we're all human and we all make mistakes, and sometimes we may say something out of anger, out of hurt. And so, it's just how you maneuver through that hurt, and that kind of will determine how the relationship will go. I think sometimes we do
Good.
put expectations on people, and we put them in, okay, because I will handle the situation this way, I expect for this person to handle that situation the same. And everyone doesn't handle certain situations um, the same.
Unrealistic expectations, I think, are a big part of relationship demise, relationship conflict. Um, Having an expectation overall, I don't think it's bad. Having an unrealistic expectation of someone, I think is unfair. I think sometimes people want you to do what they can't even do or won't do. They're not even doing it. And they have this expectation of you. You don't meet that expectation. And now a conflict has arose in the relationship. And I think sometimes a lot of relationships, friendships, all that end because there's this weird unrealistic again expectation. Having an expectation for somebody to have respect for you or to treat you kind, I'm not talking about that. That's just normal stuff. But being like, oh, you're never telling us, or you'll be here, it's just the weird unrealistic things that people have in their head, um that's stemming from insecurities or hurt or trauma, and that you begin to place in the relationship. I think that causes a lot of conflict. Again, we might be off on a tangent, but Britt did bring it up as far as expectations and all that, and undoubtedly, hurt will arise. But I think for some people, the hurt is amplified because there's some unrealistic fairy tale lie, trauma stemmed, expectation of a friend or a partner or a family member.
Or
Um,
comparisons as well.
would
You
you say, Britt?
know, comparisons as well. You
Comparisons.
see, oh, well, when these two people had a situation that arose and this person did this to gain back that person's trust or forgiveness. Well, why aren't you doing it?
Right.
Why aren't you coming with the flowers and the chocolate or whatever the case may be, something that, and so that also I think played the comparison of looking at how this person or these two individuals handled a situation in a friend group, when someone else got into it, maybe they came by, and with me you just give me a phone call, why didn't I get the extra effort, so I think that also plays a part into it, with just comparing, how things were handled in different situations.
That's good. Yeah, that's a big thing because feeling like someone else should handle it, like I can't expect Flip to handle it the way Britt would handle it. And then I'm upset because Britt handled it another way. Because that's the thing. And then if let's talk about romantic ones, sometimes you're in a relationship, sorry, Philip. Sometimes you're in a relationship with a man and it's my mama, my auntie, and the way my mama, and so it's like I'm not your mama, I'm not your auntie,
I'm not your dad.
and then same with women, right? I'm not your daddy. My daddy do this for me. My dad, I'm not your dad. I'm not your mom. I have to, we have our own. When I say we, that person that you're involved with, you and I have our own relationship. I'm my own person. You're your own person. And so, if that expectation gets put, my mama did it like this, and first and foremost, your mama two or so generations off from me. We're not in the same generation. So the things that is applicable to her, what I'm meaning, it's not applicable to me. You understand? And same with your husband and your daddy. So, trying to compare compare expectations, miscommunications. Yeah, all those are like relationship killers for sure. For sure. And they start fighting.
I don't want to get into it this bad where we could actually destroy some permanently,
Yeah.
in a relationship. So sometimes that space for that person to heal, for them, it might needs to happen.
What about when both parties feels as if both like you hurt me and I hurt you type of thing? Like they both feel like they're the ones that was hurt in the situation. How does that go? What is that process?
Flip when both parties are feeling hurt.
I mean, I know for me, I I shut down. Like I've already made my point, say what I had to say. You made your point, say what you had to say. And if there's no way to fix the situation, then we just gotta thug it out till it's time to move on. Okay. Um, there's still going to be a mutual respect between the parties, but that's it.
My thing about it is, but I feel like that's always like a to compare it to like an illness that keeps popping back up. Like if you never like take the medicine for it, I feel like so I can understand you saying this is my point of view, this is my point of view. All we're gonna do is keep, fighting. I don't want to do that. So let's agree to disagree is what essentially I'm thinking is what you're saying. And I guess that does work, but then um when it's I don't know. If it's an issue that I feel like it's going to end up keep recurring if it's not addressed or come to a resolution, but maybe that's not true. I don't know.
It's been addressed.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay. And I can respect it because there are some scenarios, I guess that I mean, like you said, with some people you just get nowhere with, right? So you'll talk for 20 years, and you guys are gonna be in the same spot because nobody is I don't know. Sometimes I guess things, and I think that's something that I have to mature in understanding that not everything is gonna necessarily have a resolution. Like you're not gonna always get to the bottom of every, like this is fixed and this is a resolution. So everything, that's not always possible. And so I guess from there you have to decide with knowing that that's not always possible. Where do you want to go from there? Will that be a deal breaker, right? Because sometimes since this cannot be resolved, that is a deal breaker. Or if it's not a deal breaker and it's just something, one of your isms that you have to get over. I don't know. I guess that's just for a person to decide that's in the friendship or relationship. But I definitely am a big um somebody gonna have to come to the line, right? Somebody gonna have to come off the wall. So we both are disagreeing. I'm big on the compromise. Like, okay, well, I'll come off the wall. You don't like that? Okay, well, let me come off the wall and jump to this side and say, okay, let's do it. Or, I want you to have the sense to say, okay, well, I disagree, but technically that does make more sense. So I'm gonna jump off the wall and come this way. Um, like holding and grinding in, I don't know. I feel like it's immature in a relationship. But I don't know. I'm just saying, like, because it's not gonna I don't think it's gonna work without compromise.
Like, if you don't feel like dealing with it all that comes with the friendship, it would be best to let it go so you'll have a peace of mind and space and not feel stressed and always feel like it's going to be drama in this relationship. Ain't nothing being resolved. So it's better for a peace of mind. I'll leave the relationship alone and walk away from it. It's okay to walk away from some relationship because, as the saying, friendships that can last past certain amount of years is a lifetime. Some relationships
Right.
are just seasonal.
Right. And just knowing the difference between those two are important. Because
Exactly.
the people you try to keep in your life are seasonal, it's a mess. And then you
Exactly.
have to know when you have to fight or like I said, compromise for people that should be in your life that are good people, because that's not easy to come by. Sometimes when you have a long-term friend or a very loyal friend or a very kind person, you assume that you can get that, in someone else, or you assume that that's something, and then you go out there and realize, there's some habitual liars, there's some evil people, that are just weird. I don't even know. You don't even know what's wrong with people these days. It's just that no. And so I think for me, at this big grown age that I'm at, and the little relationships that I have, I'm good with it. Now, if God says different, then so be it. Um, but I have a solid circle around me. All right, so we kind of talked about conflict a little bit. We talked more about relationships and just trying to maneuver those. So let's look at some of the biblical ways. So one biblical way, and I'm reading off this little thing, seeking peace first. So making every effort to live at peace with others. So we're looking at the biblical way to handle conflict. Whenever we are getting into something, we're supposed to seek peace first. So don't go in guns blazing, ready with your paws up. Don't go in there with your dukes up, ready. Like, we're supposed to go in there like on a peaceful thing. Like,
with being said, peace be still. Lord bless the peacemaker.
yeah, bless the peacemaker, because we're not supposed to go in with dukes up. So we prioritize reconciliation over being right. That goes back to the somebody got to have a sense thing that I was saying. So instead of saying I'm about to be right in this, you're supposed to want to prioritize reconciliation, peace. So there's a tip. Anybody got to comment to that?
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna have my peace, and I'm gonna
It's supposed to be peace.
pray for peace.
It's
I'm
supposed
gonna
to
make
be
sure I
peace in the
have my
relationship.
peace, but I'm gonna pray for you to have peace too.
Okay. I think it's just saying when you show up and you need to handle conflict with someone, don't show up like I'm about to be right. I'm about to show them. I'm about to check your heart when you're doing conflict.
Before
Right?
you even
Examine
say
your
a
own
word,
heart.
come out, pray to God first so He can give you the words to use, the words to wisdom, and also
It's good.
pray to God to see is it even worth talking about, worth dealing with, worth. Look, the Holy Spirit will give you a sign and let you know if
Yeah.
it's worth it or not.
Yeah, that's me. I want to talk everything out. And sometimes stuff ain't talked out about. Like, some relationships it's just let it go. Let it go. You can't talk everything. Everything can be talked out, everything can be resolved. And so that might be for the best. So check your heart posture.
Yes.
So if you know you, because some people come, they know they're gonna come fight you. There is no, they know what they're doing. They rolling up ready to fight. They're ready to rumble. It's definitely not coming on some peaceful olive branch. I want to resolve the relationship.
Exactly.
Some people will come back and act like they want to resolve the relationship, and they really just ready to set you up for something.
That's why I said pray about the situation before you
Right.
go have that conversation or say anything. Ask God first and let the Holy Spirit with you to see what to do first. And if God reveals something to you about that individual, then you know what type of decision you might need to make.
God knew what I was gonna do before I did it. So therefore, don't be surprised.
Oh my gosh. Don't be surprised if you come in there with praying hands.
Yeah.
I pray for people.
That's good, Butterfly Love, because Flip, I think he keeps wanting to lay hands on people and not in a holy way. So we're going to still pray for his deliverance from the laying of hands with a bald fist. We're going to pray for that deliverance from that. So some of the things we just went over, some biblical principles we got from Romans 12:18 of basically try to make peace when we're coming into a conflicting scenario. Checking our heart posture. Jennifer said, pray pray before you go into the scenario. Just don't go in your emotions. Because if you go in anything in your emotions, you know you're gonna probably it's not gonna go well. Look at the word of God. It's a roadmap, right? So see how God is saying to handle conflicts. Because if you want relationships and you want them in a godly way, which means you want them in a peaceful manner, you want them in a loving manner, you want all these godly fruits, then it probably is good if we check in to see how the Bible says to handle relationships. So, I'm reading. This is not because I know everything. Some of the biblical guidelines say address the issue privately. Because in this day and age, we good for blasting people, putting video recording you, blasting you. I hate that. I absolutely I love that type of. I'm gonna snap a picture. I'm gonna record you. I'm gonna upload it. I can't stand that mess. I know that's what we do. What you say?
I got a screen.
Yeah, I
Screenshot.
can't stand it. Now,
Oh, man.
if it's not going to be
No,
public,
that's
I still don't like it.
how I look at that now. Like I said, how I look at that for myself, I'm gonna get all that information to protect myself. So if you try something stupid, I got proof.
Okay. I just can't. I can't stand the whole upload
But
recording.
I ain't
Just come to
finna go
me
digging. I'm
privately.
not finna go digging. Not gonna dig for it. But if it get revealed to me, just know I'm gonna pocket that just to make sure I protect myself. If you try something stupid.
Okay. Okay. Just a little protection, evidence and protection, some screenshot.
Exactly.
So I think that there's another one that says know when to involve or not involve other people.
That
And then
It's about business.
it depends
Go
on the
ahead.
situation. It depends
No,
on the
the
situation.
only people that should know what's going on are the ones that you feel comfortable with knowing. But yeah, no, like you gotta know who to talk to about certain things.
Right.
Okay.
I agree. Forgive as Christ forgives. So seek peace. Forgive as Christ is forgive. Check your heart posture. Follow biblical guidelines on, handling relationships, such as addressing privately or bringing in when you need to bring someone in, and know when reconciliation is impossible. So all these things are some biblical tips. And we see scriptures like Romans 12 and 18, Matthew 7, 3 through 35, Ephesians 4:15. These are all some scriptures that kind of help us maneuver relationships biblically. Okay, so let's play a game. You guys tell me how you would handle it. Philip, start with you. Let's
Fresh out.
do let's do a conflict at work. Oh, is my hair gonna be looking crazy? Let's do a conflict at work. Okay.
Is it my fault?
Let's
Is it my
see.
fault?
Is it conflict at work? A coworker takes credit for a project you worked hard on, making you feel frustrated and overlooked. Lip, how are you handling that conflict as a Christian man? A coworker has taken credit for your project, making you feel frustrated and overlooked.
One, they can't do what I do, so therefore that's never going to be an issue.
So it's unique.
Okay.
Okay.
No, because I have a track record at work. When I'm there, I'm pretty much flawless. When I'm not there, that's when things go sideways. So you can't put any, oh well, if you would do it this way, it wouldn't come better. No, I run it how I run it because it runs well. When
But
I'm
they
not
have
there,
stolen your
no.
look. They have stolen it. So what are you gonna do? Let's say you ran the rail and your coworker said, "Oh, I did that." Philip was in the back, sitting down, doing something else, and I did all of that. And this is so. What happens?
No, I'm gonna look at you. You're a liar. You're a liar because
Hey, did you walk in there with? Wait a minute. Is that in peace? Did you walk in there with the peace of the Lord when you say you're a liar?
You said something. Okay. I was peaceful till you said something.
Okay.
Cut me sideways.
So we're
No,
just gonna go
no.
straight in. You're a liar. You're a liar. Or we just go, okay. Butterfly love, what you got?
Better prove that.
Ooh, Lord, I can understand this situation
God,
so
you need to walk in.
vividly because I'm pretty much feel like I'm going through that kind of situation right now with a lazy coworker.
How do you handle that conflict as a Christian woman?
As
And
a
also,
Christian woman, I
PK.
told the manager the truth, and as a Christian woman, I don't want to work with him.
All right. So we got you a liar, and I'm done with you. Rick, what you got?
So for me, I feel like I would first ask the person that, like, hey, it seems as if, you're trying to take full credit of this project. Is that your intentions? Like, were you, and if the person's like, well, no, I'm so sorry, I can get talk. Cause some people, I can get talking if I can take over, I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. So from there, maybe we should go back and speak with the bosses or whoever's, over the project so that we can clarify, what truly happened or who did what. Now, if the person then decides to say like, well, no, I don't care or I don't want to do that, then I'll just speak with the people who's in it. I'm like, well, I'm going to speak with them and then just speak with them. But
So you're
as
going
far as
above.
argument and going back and forth, I'm not going to do
Not
that.
gonna do
I'll
that.
give you the opportunity to say, because sometimes people were like, well, if you would have just came to me, I would have, we could have rectified, we could have came together if you'd have just came to me. So I'll give them the opportunity to rectify the situation. But if they decide that, hey, well, no, actually, I'm the one who did it, then okay, and I'll just go to whoever I need to go to just to get the situation corrected or acknowledged.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm just gonna ask you a question like why? Like why do you feel the need to do what you did? I don't do that to you. Why do you do it to me?
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
That's true. It's a good question.
Like
Because whoever they learned that stuff from, that's why. You'll never understand why because who they learned it from. 9 times out of 10, at home from mama and dada or whoever in the family.
Because also you kind of your group and who you're working with. Some people, when it comes to like, especially like group projects, some people don't mind being the person that plays in the back. Hey, I gather information, you present it, it's cool, it's fine. It doesn't, that's fine. Some people prefer that. And then other people prefer to have that acknowledgement. Sometimes it doesn't matter to others. And so it's good to just kind of see like, hey, do you mind? Or hey, while I presented this, do you want me to, acknowledge this particular part? Hey, I'm speaking today, but so and so did all the framework, so we're coming together to present this. It just depends on the personality, but yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, it does depend on the personality because some people would just want to take credit for stuff that they know they didn't do. And that's not fair to the individual. So
yeah.
as the person that, did they part, did they share in the project or whatever situation, no, give me my credit because that's not fair. But at the same time, I could care less if you want to take credit or not because at the end of the day, God seen who did what.
Right. I know when Flip asked that question, it made me jump back to where I was like, I want to resolve things person. And I've realized now, like as I'm getting older, that sometimes you don't have a reason for why people act the way they act. Like he said, why? I've never done that to you. Like, why would you do that to me? Why would you say that? And I realized that people are crazy and they have no reason, right? They have no reason. Some people wake up and decide, or they are miserable for whatever reason, and they have no reason. You've done nothing wrong to them, and that's just the way they are. And that's something that you kind of have to like deal with as well and realize I haven't done anything. And I've been the best person that I know I can be, and that's just who they are. No matter what, they're gonna lie and say they did the work that I did, or this and this, and so then. But I feel like you guys' scenarios, the way you handle conflict is decent. Some people gonna fight you. They gonna fight you right off bat.
And I'm gonna protect myself too.
No.
Yeah. And it just depends. Like, I know I mentioned about, hey, if that person doesn't acknowledge, and I'll just go speak with whoever needs to be spoken to. But I mean, that's if we're being asked, like, hey, it seems like you didn't do and this person did do, you know. Then, but if it's, I mean, it just depends on the situation. If it's
You might let
something
it
that,
go.
yeah, like some people, the character. When you get to work with people, you get to know them, you get to know their character. Sometimes you even get to know their work style and their work style, and with how they, do things, how they lay out things, how they display things. And so sometimes you won't even have to say, people will
Y'all
know,
know.
girl, so and so did not do that. I know that's all so and so's work, because
Yeah.
they don't do anything, your character speaks for itself. So a lot of times if people know that 9 times out of 10, this person is sitting down really not doing anything, then all of a sudden here's a presentation. They have done everything. You're kind of going to side eye
That
it
ain't
like,
adding up.
that
Yeah.
was,
No.
who did that. But sometimes you
Really
don't
did
even, so you can just let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, you stressing over nothing in your work week. That's kind of like, that is kind of more of a Christian attitude, because it's like Jesus, he didn't feel like he had to prove nothing to everybody. That was what they was kind of pushing for. Well, prove it, prove it, prove it. If you just prove it. And he did some things not to prove, he did miracles and all these things not to prove. But it's just his work spoke for himself. In the end, what he
Right.
said was true, because what his character spoke for herself.
Exactly.
So some of the tips to handle that scenario with your coworker, it says pause and pray. Jennifer kind of said that as a thing. Confront respectfully. All right, come on, Christian crew. Okay, you'll get in some of the tips. Trust God for justice. Forgive and let go. So I feel like Flip and Brittany both said that to confront. Flip might have been a little bit more aggressive. You're a liar, but it still was a talk. It wasn't it was a confront. Jen Butterfly Love mentioned earlier to pause and pray. Britt came back and said trust God. So okay, all right, you Christians, y'all maneuvering. Y'all maneuvering. Y'all got it in your heart down. That's good. So we go on to God first to figure out how to resolve that conflict, and then we still trusting God in the end. Okay, one more, and then we'll done. Let's see a good one. Should we do friendship?
It said try Jesus, don't try me.
Yeah, you need to do that. Yeah, try him. Jesus is good. Try him. Don't do me. Okay, let's do miscommunication with a friend. I feel like sometimes friendships get hard, just like relationships. Your close friend hasn't responded to your messages lately. When you finally speak to them, they seem distant. You assume they're upset with you, but you haven't said anything. But they haven't said anything. Anybody want to jump on that one?
I would
That was
ask them.
I'd be wondering, like, is she okay? Is something going on with her? What is going on? I'm gonna have that kind of concern. I'm like, this is not normal. This is not in her character. He or she. So I'm gonna call you. You not responding. Shoot, I might just pop up at your house to see if you fine. Just because I haven't heard
You said
from
we
you
driving
and you
by.
haven't
Are you okay?
calls. Hey,
Right?
we gotta go to see if everything. It becomes a concern when
Right.
you giving them some time to respond and stuff. But after a while, it's gonna become concerning.
So you don't think anything's wrong in a relationship. You automatically jump to we're okay, as in us in a relationship. It just must be something going on in the outside. Is what you
Or
jump to automatically.
another thing could also be she could be doing some business and she in her business, he or she in their business, handling business, doing something important. So if you know your friend, your real friends and stuff, they'll get back with you once they finish taking care of what they had to do that was important. So I just wouldn't go off the
Okay.
rail with that when it comes to friendship, because like we have a friendship, but our journey in life and road that we go out is different. But we get to be there and see you on your journey. But our journey is different. So who's to say what he or she is doing for not to be able to respond to you so quickly like you used to?
I feel like Gina's coming from a safe space because she's in um a healthy relationships. So she's making an assumption that it ain't me and you. It's you got life around you. That's why. But there are some people that would jump to say, me and you have a problem because you haven't responded. Flip, you seem like you got something you want to get off your chest regarding the no respond friend.
I mean, like I said, like me and my friends, or at least me and my guy friends, like we'll text, but like it might be a day or two before they respond. Hell, I mean, one of them's on tour,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one got 2 jobs.
Okay.
So I mean, like, hit me up when you hit me up.
Right.
Okay.
Another
Like,
healthy
I know you
relationship.
busy. Yeah, you know I'm busy. Okay. If we get a day off together,
Yeah.
we'll link up. If not, I'm off at 10. You off at 10. I'll pull up at the house.
That's good.
Okay. Just like no, like, but with like you and Nikki,
Mm-hmm.
if one of y'all can respond in a decent amount of time, then yeah. Okay.
You think something's wrong?
Not there's something wrong. It's just like I know that both of y'all are full-time moms, got your own thing going on, but at the same time, it's like it's been 3-4 days.
Right.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do I gotta make a trip to come out there?
Yeah. Britt, what you
Yeah,
think?
I would just simply just ask my friend, is everything okay? And see, do you need me? Can I help with anything? And just pretty much just ask and see what their response would be.
Okay, so
And
y'all
Okay.
definitely in some healthy relationships because um it's more of concern than taking it personal. All right. So if we're not in a maturity level to say, I know my friend have a life, or this is not like them, they're going through something, even if the attitude is off with me, that it's obvious that they're going through something. Like because this scenario said that they became distant. So what happens if you check in and you find out the there's a little tension, there's a little something there. Britt, how do you go from there when you do reach out and they're like, oh, we're good, but it's a little off a little bit. You could tell.
I think that's just the saying of sometimes you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
That's good. Yeah.
I think that if we have developed a friendship, then at the very least, if you do have, something that's bothering you, you should be able to tell me. But if you don't respect the relationship enough to tell me, then that obviously means that you might have already moved on from the relationship, and I may have to just follow suit.
Mm.
Now that's after attempting to see what's wrong. Like, friend, I noticed that, there's been a shift. You okay? Are we okay? Do you say anything you want to talk to me about? And after a certain amount of attempts to get the person to open up or may tell you now it's different if your friend is like, well, girl, I just need a moment. Give me a second, because it is
Yeah, that's
something
different.
bothering you. But just
Yeah.
give me a second because I'm not sure I'm ready to talk about it. Because I
Mhm.
do want, respect you as when I come to you. So just give me a moment.
Right.
You can respect it. Okay, take it,
Yeah.
let the person, But
Yeah.
if everything is no, 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 but then you notice in there, she's out hanging or your friend is out hanging with other friends and, not inviting you or, not including you on things. And now it's just a blatant, like, okay, something is definitely off.
Something is wrong.
They're not telling me. So what do? You stay
Yeah.
in limbo the entire time or do you move on? You
Right.
have to make that decision.
That's so immature to me though. Just say it. Just say, hey, I feel like either the relationship has ran its course or I don't agree with this, or you said something and I think I must take a step back and let this go. Not when I ask you, you're like, oh, we're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's great. And then
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I understand some people don't like conflict, so they'll avoid it, right? So they'll avoid those hard conversations, but it still comes off weird. Okay. Any final thoughts on? Okay, you guys are Christian, and I say you're young people because you are. In different you're young. We're still young. We're still young. We're still young.
Right. That's gray up there, okay?
We're still so young. But
Don't be in denial.
so in this day and age, in this time with everything going on, any final thoughts, any final tips for somebody maneuvering relationships, family, friendships, work environments? A realistic tip that you would give them to maneuver that conflict during that time. Yes, sir. Go
I
ahead.
got you. And this is gonna be the edited version.
Okay. Gosh.
If it doesn't affect you physically, mentally, emotionally, or financially, don't worry about it.
It's good.
Control what you can control.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
What you can't let it go. Okay. It's beyond me now. Well, the unedited version of that saying is no, just try Jesus, don't try me. Okay. Just
All right. Next person. That's honestly.
I'm gonna give you the real world answer. Like, no, don't find somebody else to play with. Don't play with me. Okay.
Okay.
I'm
That's
not the one.
fair. No,
Nor
that's
the
fair.
yeah.
Bridge.
I think that, maybe just realizing that, you shouldn't seek joy shouldn't come from somebody else, right? Like
Ooh.
Yeah.
allowing someone to upset you and that just ruining your entire day, ruining the interactions that you have with others. Yeah. So, and I'm still learning this. Please know that I am still trying and working on this, but joy comes from the Lord. And that's truly, I think once you kind of get to obtaining that, that level, that will really help a lot. I do believe that, God puts people together for certain reasons, for different things.
Mm-hmm.
You might not even, it might not be the season that you made that God placed this person in your life for. I know sometimes me and my friends joke all the time, like, okay, God knew we needed each other when we was this age, but we met 15 years ago. But I can see now why God put us together because He knew that we were going to need each other during this time. So yeah, but I think for me, just my final thing, what I'm still working on is just trying to really know that joy comes from the Lord and not basing your joy depending on how someone treats you that day or the situations that occurred throughout the day, if that makes sense.
Take it to Jesus. We're going to pray about it. I am also going to continue seeking out for peace, happy, joy, praising Him, praising everything, just to be able to wake up and see another day. So, pray about your situation and just to see God's understanding of why things happen the way it happened. Because whatever is meant to be is meant to be. Sometimes you can't change it. Then sometimes you can work it out. That's all, folks.
That's good. No, that's really good. First thing is going to always be to pray first, so that you can know how to get the wisdom to handle the situation, and then from prayer, go head on, as God has told you, or as the Holy Spirit leads you, to either speak to the person or not speak, because God is not always going to tell you to go speak to the person and go confront them. Sometimes it's to let it go, and and those things. So I would say, be open to wherever God is telling you how to do the relationship, and definitely be prayerful about any relationship that you get in, and then use the Word of God to help lead you where you still feel a little blurry. Understand that relationships take patience, they take forgiveness, they take communication, they take realistic expectations, not unrealistic expectations. They take humility, because sometimes you're gonna be right and you gotta humble up and let it go for the sake of a relationship, because you have to decide what's more important, the you being right or the relationship that you're in. So it takes a maturity and a humility to maneuver those things, and you still in the end find that in the Word of God tells us how to love people and what to focus on. So that's my final. That's a lot of words, but that's my final. Go to God. Like Flip say, try Jesus. For joining us on
Real talk.
Real thing.